Hello, welcome to part 3 of this beginner's guide. We have put together our kit and are about to start painting. But before we do that, we need to fix some imperfections in the kit. See these gaps? Here and here. These gaps need to be filled, else they will look odd. You don't see too many aircraft with holes in them, do you? To fill these gaps, we will use putty. This is the Tamiya putty, very popular. And here's another popular brand, Perfect Putty. But keeping with our theme of using generic cheaper products, let me introduce you to Liquitex modeling paste. It's very cheap, you get it easily on the net, and it's just as good as modeling putty. I have used this several times. In fact, this has become my preferred putty. So let's get on with filling these gaps. I use this mini applicator, but you can also use a toothpick, aka cocktail stick, to do the same. Use whatever you are comfortable with. I will fill the gap and then use a moistened Q-tip or earbud to clean the extra stuff off. This minimizes the need for sanding later on. So let me go all over the gaps. Right then, it's time to mask the canopy. Now there are several ways to mask clear parts. I will show you my preferred way. I am using a very thin masking tape. In case you do not have this, you can take a regular tape and cut thin strips of it. And here I go. This particular way is slightly time consuming, but when the outlines are very light, as in this case, I have found it to be the most effective. Once the outline has been made, I fill the center with bigger pieces of tape. You can also use this product, a masking fluid, to fill the gaps. You know what I'm going to say now. Yes, it's cheap and easily available and just as good as a special modeling product. Okay, now all the putting and gluing and handling of the plane has left a lot of dirt on it, especially on these large surfaces which are full of fingerprints. So we moisten a lint-free cloth with alcohol and give the kit a good clean. In case you don't have any alcohol, give the aircraft a good scrub with water. But make sure you use a lint-free cloth. Paper towels break up when moist and sometimes make the situation worse. I have now masked the cockpit with some masking tape. I have also cut up a piece of sponge, like this common kitchen sponge, into small pieces and gently stuffed them inside the cockpit. I have also masked the wheel wells with some masking fluid. Now a quick introduction to primers. Now there are several primers out there, but I use the Mr. Surfacer series. This is Mr. Surfacer 1000. It has medium thickness or grittiness. I don't know how better to describe it. Mr. Surfacer 500 is the thickest in the series and can also be used with a brush to fill tiny gaps. Mr. Surfacer 1500 is the finest and is an excellent primer. In case you don't have these products, just use any acrylic paint you may have lying around. Some modelers don't use primers at all, but I have found them to be useful and I use them in all my builds. I also start painting the canopy, starting with the chrome interior green which was used inside the cockpit so that the inside is all the same color. Now for something called pre-shading. So pre-shading is slightly debated and the modeling community is divided over pre-shading. Some modelers love it while others think it takes away from the realism of the kit. I like pre-shading as it provides a tonal variation to subsequent paint, but I like to keep it very subdued. You should experiment with pre-shading and decide for yourself what you like. Right, time to add the first paint coat. I start by diluting this grey that came with the kit. This is the paint for the underside of the plane. And 9 times out of 10, this is where I usually start. I first paint the inside of the panels and then use thin light layers to blend the paint. This allows me to control the amount of pre-shading that shows through. Once the paint is dry, I mask the parts with some masking tape as I need a sharp line between the colors. Okay, look at this piece of tape which is sticking out from the side. These extra bits often act as funnels and catch the subsequent paint and then push them inside to the protected surface. To avoid this, I take a sharp knife and cut this extra tape off. Now for the green paint. I freehand the camo pattern. I use light thin layers of paint once again. Too much paint and all the pre-shading will be lost. Unfortunately in this case, I thinned the paint down too much and had to apply more layers than I would have liked to. Well, that's all we have time for this time, fellow modelers. I will see you soon in the next part, where we will hopefully complete the kit. Till then, have a great time and happy modeling.